world warms by 4 degrees, oceans rise, overtaking heavily populated deltas, home to 1 billion people. Bangladesh washed away. Egypt inundated. Venice submerged. Glaciers disappear, shutting off the flow of fresh water to billions more. Northern Canada becomes one of the planet's most bountiful agricultural zones, while a beach in Scandinavia could be the next Saint-Tropez. The entire West Antarctic ice sheet could collapse, sending sea levels rising even further. This could be our world, plus 4 degrees.
At 4 degrees, we really do begin to see a planet which is completely unrecognizable from the one we know today. We will see the possible drying up of some of the most important rivers in the world, and this will endanger the survival of tens and even hundreds of millions of people.
If the planet is ever 4 degrees warmer, one of its great rivers will be self-destructing at both ends, from a high mountain glacier to the Indian Ocean. Locals call it Mother Ganges, the holiest river in India, perhaps in all the world. Millions of devout pilgrims gather each year in a mass ritual to celebrate the river's birthday. When it is said the goddess Ganga came to earth to save her people from drought. Himalayan rivers are the wellspring of life for over 1 billion people in China, Nepal, and India.
If Ganges is not there, then it will not be in India. It will be a desert in the world.
Climate scientists predict India could be one of the countries where the impact of global warming takes its greatest toll. Unless we begin to slow global warming, in fewer than 4 decades, the Ganges could be a river fighting for its very life. The battle will be fought here, in the vast crystalline ice fields of the Himalayan glaciers, the planet's largest store of fresh water outside of the polar ice caps. Himalayan glaciers are receding, the fastest of any in the world. Few have ventured here to the headwaters of the Ganges as often as one man.
We used to have 8 to 15 feet of snow in a single night. Now you barely get 1.5 to 2 feet of snow during the entire season. The Ganges River will become a desert, and all you will see in her place is a dirty creek, not a thing of beauty.
Swami Sundaranand, an 80-year-old holy man known as the Swami who clicks, has been photographing the glaciers above the Ganges for 50 years.
1956
The first photo I took of the glacier was in 1956. After 1962, I started to worry about the changes I was seeing in the glacier. I went to this glacier on foot in 1965, to the base of Meru Peak. When I went back after 15 years, the glacier had vanished. When I saw the glacier receding, I became very worried and started crying. If the holy Ganges is not in existence in the future, the entire world will seem like it has become an orphan.
The Swami's trove of icescapes documents 50 years of change to this magnificent glacier. now NASA satellite imagery, confirms the rate of loss. Side by side, the high and low-tech images tell a similar story, one that spells danger for the future. Literally following in the Swami's footsteps is a new generation of climbers, lured by the pilgrimage to the glacial ice cave that gives the Ganges its life. When Nadish Sharma was a boy, his father was an early summiter of Everest. Since the late 70s, he's climbed the Ganges Glacier 30 times.
In 1978, this place Bhojwasa, there used to be a dense forest of silver birch. And now there is not a single tree.
The glacier holds millions of tons of ice. Nearly 5 cubic miles worth sustains the Ganges as it begins its descent to the Indian Ocean. This was all glacier once, before it started shrinking 100 feet a year. Just a century ago, this stone marked the edge of the ice field that has retreated high up the mountain.
I am sad because I have seen this glacier, my father has seen this glacier, but probably, maybe my children or their children may not be able to see this, which is the most holiest thing for we Hindus.
If current trends continue, the next 100 years could wreak havoc on agriculture, hydroelectric power, transportation, mining, and wildlife all along the Ganges. At first, the melt might unleash unprecedented floods. But then, seasonal water scarcity and famine could strike year-round once the glacier vanishes completely. At the current rate of loss, it's estimated there will be no more glaciers in the Himalayas by the year 2035, dramatically reducing the flow of fresh water to more than 1 billion people.
There are people depending upon this fresh water from the glaciers, but most of them will be gone if we have global warming of 3 or 4 degrees Celsius.
And that will lead to tens of millions of climate refugees having to go and find somewhere else to live. Pretty scary stuff.
At +4 degrees, different parts of the world will face very different kinds of problems, with only one thing in common. They will all be extreme.